just a couple of wrap-up items here on this issue of some other things you can get from Polaris or the North Star. So hopefully then you have a nice answer to question number 22, which are what else can you figure out from the North Star? So of course it tells you where north is, but now you see that it sort of can tell you what your latitude is, your location on Earth is. And there's a very important navigational beacon all throughout history for that reason. So just wrapping up then, there are some other stars out there that are not Polaris that have some interesting properties as well. I just want to tell you about some of those. And in particular, as I go to the next slide, remember that the only place you can see Polaris directly above your head is, of course, if you're on the North Pole, right? We sort of drew that in the last slide here. So if you're on the North Pole, you would look directly above your head, and that's, of course, where you see the North Star. You'd have to tilt your neck at 90 degrees in order to see it, and all of the things that we just discussed. Okay. Well, it turns out that there's other stars out there, not just the North Star, and some of them you've heard of now. So, for example, Arcturus here is not above the North Pole. So here's the North Pole right here. Remember, Polaris would be up there, of course. Arcturus, you arced Arcturus, is not above the North Pole. Oops, wrong tool. It's not at 90 degrees. It's about at 19 degrees, which is very close to the equator, and that's over one of the Hawaiian Islands. So if you wanted to see Arcturus directly above your head, in other words, stand on one of the Hawaiian Islands like this, like say you're standing right here. If you look directly above your head, you wouldn't see the North Star. You would see Arcturus once a night. It doesn't stay above your head because the Earth is rotating, but once a night, you could look directly up and see Arcturus. Likewise, Vega is another star that we didn't discuss how to find it, but it's another common one up there. That's at about 38 degrees, which is roughly about where San Francisco is. So once a night, if you were standing in San Francisco and looked directly above your head, once a night, Vega would pass directly over your head. And Spica is, of course, one of the other stars that we spike to. It's about at 11 degrees. So I forgot the name of the islands down here, but if you go down into the South Pacific, maybe you're having a nice vacation, nice warm vacation down there. If you look straight above your head from that 11 degrees latitude way down there, see 11 degrees, oh, pardon me, it's even south, very far south. Nothing wrong here, it's just I didn't realize we went south of the equator, so you're going even south of the equator, so you're way down in the South Pacific. But in either case, if you look above your head once a night, you'd see Spica passing overhead. And I think the last one they have on here is Dubhe, one of the pointer stars of the North Star that we just love to find anyway because it helps us find the North Star. Excuse me, not of the North Star. This is one of the pointer stars of the Big Dipper, of course. If you were way, 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 way up in near Alaska, somewhere like this, way, way up at 62 degrees north and look straight up, you'd see Dubhe. So there are some other stars that have these properties that can pass directly over our heads, and they can be used as navigational beacons in that regard as well. Like, for instance, if we were lost and we were somewhere on the world and looked directly above our head and recognize Arcturus passing directly above our head that we arced to, say we arced Arcturus, we would know we were at 90 degrees north latitude. So other stars can be used for navigational beacons in that regard as well.